joining us once again. It's the J.Gerrard Show. Thank everybody for tuning in to different. I know we're on a different schedule now, and it's been taking some getting used to. But we are very glad to be here tonight. Very glad that we have a very special guest here tonight, and not just one special guest. We have several. So welcome everybody to the conversation tonight.
Yep.
Elijah, I just want to go around the table, start with you. How's your week been, and what's going on with you?
Man, it's been good. It's been all good. Doing what I do at work, you know. Taking some courses and just busy, just doing the busy stuff, trying to better myself, working hard at trying to better myself. That's it.
All right. Well, that sounds like that'll keep you busy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, every day, making it better. My very special guest, everybody, I was trying to delay the introduction, but I'm going to allow you. I'm going to ask everybody, how was your week, Brother Sean? This is Sean Harris and his wife, Tara. And don't tell me, Caden.
Yes.
And Kennedy.
Yes.
So welcome
Thank you.
to the Harris family. Thank y'all for being here. How's everybody's week been? Anybody y'all just want to say something to start off?
Yeah.
How's your day? How's your week been?
Our week's been great. I had my mother over for the week,
Okay.
Oh wow.
and we spoiled her up. You know, the kids brought her breakfast in bed. She
Oh,
was
wow.
ready to leave. We went shopping, and
Oh wow.
so it feels good. You know, when your parents are getting older, you can bring them in and just spend that
Love
quality
on 'em.
time with them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
She's good though. She's just she drink her beer and watch her Amazon movies.
Right.
She's no problem.
Don't sound like fun. How about you, Brother Sean? You've been busy all week.
Man, always.
I know you stay busy. I know.
We're putting together a lot of business moves right now,
Right.
so
Right.
keeping the hammer down.
Right. Okay. I've seen some new moves that you made this week. I'm gonna let you announce
Okay.
them, but I'm very proud to have him here, sitting here next to me. Everyone, just proud to have this family here with us tonight. I was sharing with them before we came on tonight that this past month, the month of May, we were focusing on family, and we were addressing the brethren in the community first initially, and we just opened the whole conversation up about financial literacy, and we got into family. And so here we are tonight, you guys, with the I would say the perfect example of a financial literate family. And the most beautiful thing to me about it is, sometimes you hear, stories of people that, have accomplished, and, it's like, okay, well, they was willed $1 million and then they invested, and, but then when you actually hear stories of people that come, from middle class families, and are able to etch out a life for themselves. It's, to me, it's always an interesting discussion because we discuss so much other stuff.
Right.
In the community, we can talk about sports, we can talk about this, we can talk about that, but one thing that we never really sit down and address, and I think it's beautiful to be able to do it as a family, is financial literacy, and to really, educate everybody. So, you have a sense of self-worth at the same time, as you can go, then and enjoy all those other things. Just welcome everybody to the conversation. Disco didn't put the number up there. I'm going to see if we can get I know he got new glasses, y'all, and we working with him. But thank him for
Daddy, kids, and help.
Disco, how your week been? We gonna get into the conversation for a minute, y'all. I did want to say too, thanks to everybody that came out and supported Community Core, what we did on Kids Day. I want to say thank you to Lovely of Holistic Heals for coming out and doing yoga with the kids, creating a family night. For the parents as well that came out and got involved with the yoga. Want to say thank you to Honey over at the Rockwell Dance Academy in Ackworth for allowing us to use her facilities for this event. Thank Crystal Cummins and Casey Cleans for their coordination, picking up kids and just doing everything that they do. So everybody over there, I just want to say I appreciate it, what you're doing, and just keep doing it, because it all goes around. You can't give to the community and not come back to you. Right. And that's really what we're talking about tonight. Investment in people, investment in community, investment in business, and investment in your future. So enough of me talking. I want to pass the mic. And Sean, do you mind if you want to start off with us and just share for some of y'all that didn't hear the story last time? If you want to start wherever you want to start at, telling your story.
Okay.
Introduce us to who you are and.
Got it. Well, Aaron and
Check this.
Elijah, we appreciate it. Guys having us out and everything. And again, I'm Sean J. Harris. I'm originally from Atlanta. One of the few Grady babies.
right.
Y'all know we're rare.
That's right. That's right.
So,
That's right.
Pretty baby.
but I was just a C student, wanted to see my way out of school.
Right.
And like many of us, we were told go to school, get good grades, go get a good job, and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I come from a family of entrepreneurs, so I always wanted to delve into that. I wanted to go ahead and fulfill all my little boyhood fantasies. I was police at one time,
Right.
kicked the indoors, did all that kind of stuff. Went to the Air Force, but when I came out, my number one paramount goal was to be in the entrepreneurial arena.
Okay.
Because I always knew that when I created my own income, I can control my own outcome.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right.
So it's like the biggest way to have financial power, if you will, is to be able to sign the front and the back of your check.
Right.
And I knew at a job I wasn't doing that.
Right.
Right.
So that's the preface of where we are coming from as a family unit. So man, I'm just happy to be here, man. Ready just to share some information, answer any
Right.
questions for callers call in or whatever.
Right. Anybody want to call in? Call in. I got 10,000 questions, so y'all ready to call in. But let me ask you this in the sense of your upbringing, because in a few minutes we're gonna be more than glad to speak and have your kids say some things.
Okay.
But in your upbringing, was it? And I know you say you grew up around entrepreneurs.
Right.
Was it? Did you get the inside scoop where you like sat and shown, or was it just in way of just watching them do?
Initially, it was just kind of watching. My dad owned a company, and I would ride with him sometimes. And the way that started was I wore braces.
Okay.
So dad would have to come pick me up from school early sometime at, let's say, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock to take me to a 2 o'clock appointment. So I got to ride with dad all day on that particular day.
Okay.
But in the process, I was able to start witnessing and seeing how he conducted business.
Right.
And he worked for Xerox and Konica, two major copier companies back in the day.
Okay.
And what he would do is when he came home in the evenings, he would go back out and go service clients. So he was building up his repertoire
Okay.
as he was still working a full-time job. So when I was able to get out to see him doing things, seeing how businesses transactions took place, my mom was running the home office from the house.
Right.
So I watched her conduct
Right.
Business.
and answering the phones.
Right.
She was the secretary. She was accounts receivable,
Right.
everything.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
And I was able to see. I was like, oh, that's how you collect your money.
Right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
Right.
So just kind of being around that, then it turned into not just an observation, but now an interest.
Right.
To where I was like, this is kind of cool.
Right.
Because I remember sitting in class, Elijah, when I was like in the 4th grade. I was at Gresham Park Elementary, and I remember looking out the window and just seeing the cars going up and down Vicky Lane, Boulder Road. And I was like, man, when I'm grown, if I want to go to McDonald's at 11 o'clock, I'm going to McDonald's at 11 o'clock. That was my biggest
Right. The
thing.
motivation. Right.
Yeah, that was my inspiration. I said, man, you know what? I want to run my own companies.
Right.
And from there, man, it just took off.
So it's really just the mindset.
Right.
That's awesome.
Definitely.
That is awesome. What would you say though? How do you reach? And for a lot of people that may not be, and that's a part of the conversation as well, and the reason of having you here, just to display it, because everybody don't have the situations where they're actively seeing that. You know what I mean? And I think in a lot of cases, more than none, the father was not there. There was not and I'm just speaking to the disparities in the community where they didn't have that example of the entrepreneur. And, how do you say we reached that particular demographic? What do you think?
Yeah, that was a great question, man. One of the key things there, and I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to kind of segue a little bit.
Okay.
Because in our community, like you said, we got a lot of single moms.
Right.
And one of the key things is that as our ladies get with guys, a lot of times we just automatically assume that guy has to now take on the responsibility of a mentor. And that's not necessarily the case.
Right.
So we always tend to think that, well, as a woman, my man has to be his mentor.
Right.
But just like me as a grown man, I still have mentors in different regards. I have spiritual mentors, I have financial mentors, I have tax mentors. It's just in a multitude of areas. So the same thing there is to reach that demographic. that doesn't have the father figure or the business surrounding, we got to get them around that person, because all of us grew up
Right.
in the neighborhood. We always had Mr. Jack down the street that
Right.
fixed lawnmowers. We had Mr. Johnson down the street that did AC. We
Right.
got to get them around that environment. But more importantly, we got to pull out that mindset, shift that paradigm, and stop thinking our kids can only make money with a microphone or a ball in their hand.
Right.
That makes sense. We got to show them different things,
Right.
and not just show them, well, this is the 9 to 5 route, but this is the ownership route.
Right.
That makes sense.
Right.
So a lot of times we always want to see what the player on the field is doing. Don't worry about the player. You worry about the coaches doing.
Right.
Right.
The coach is one making that money.
Right. Let me ask you this, because and I ain't gonna keep going, but there was a generation that talked. We need to know, and I just want to hear your response to this. How they used to say, we need to learn the dignity of a job. And how do you speak to that mindset? Because I do believe that there are definitely benefits. Because, like I said, the guy that worked at Publix, I think that the way he carried himself, in the respect, the way that he carried himself, really is more. It's really not the job.
Right.
It's the way that you carry yourself. And a lot of us can learn from his example. No, he's not at IBM. You know what I mean? So he is the guy that I try to say,
Right.
you have a job. Do your job professionally. Do it on a level.
Yep.
Make somebody who's just passing through admire you or see that there's something different about him. Yeah, he's the bag. He's bagging my groceries, but there's more to him than that.
Exactly.
And I think when we do that, have or exercise the dignity of a job, then that gives us that extension to where, other qualities can be seen, except, then you just a bag or you're a muscle, you loading cans, or, now I see that you can extend yourself or carry yourself beyond, the task that you were given.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the same thing like with the kids. Like if you ask Kaden, he's going to tell you, I just want to be a business owner.
Right.
But one of the key things is, I think two, and I'm not putting any company out there like that, but two companies in particular that I think is excellent as far as teaching you employee mindset as well as management development and entrepreneur at the same time is Chick-fil-A and Quick Trip. Every time you go to Chick-fil-A, you never get bad service.
Right.
Like never.
Right.
The line moves fast. And a Quick Trip, when you walk in a Quick Trip, it's the first thing that happens. 10 people can walk in at the same time. You're going to hear that person say, hello, 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 and hello.
Right.
They don't skip a beat. It's customer service.
Right.
So again, to be an effective leader, you still have to have known or have been an effective follower. That makes sense? Because see, to make a leader doesn't just develop another leader. Just because I say, hey, you're now a leader, that doesn't make me a leader.
Right.
The way you determine if you're a leader is when your leaders develop other leaders. Now you can walk away from the equation. That makes sense? So the same thing is that, like you said, you got to have dignity in the job, because if you just come in the big I, little you mentality, it's like, yeah, I'm the boss, I said this and that. But you need to understand, because if people don't show up as you're building a business, guess what? You got to clean the toilet. You got to answer the phone.
Yeah.
You got to be the plumber.
Absolutely.
You got to be the electrician. You got to figure some stuff out. So to be an effective CEO, you got to know every aspect of your company. Because when somebody asks you, CEO to CEO, they may say, hey, well, how does the minute workings of your company operate? And if you just say, well, I'm just a CEO, I really don't know that, I don't want to do business with you.
Right.
You got to know the whole aspect. And you have one of the key pictures that really stood out to me for the last couple of years. We all seen it. President Obama was shaking hands with the janitor. That was the most powerful picture. There's another picture where he was shaking hands with a guardsman.
Integrity runs all the way down.
There it is.
Yeah.
So that is what builds the foundation to give you the integrity to be able to operate, and you always have dignity. One thing with the kids always teach them is philanthropy, and to be able to always understand. I take them to the hood. We go downtown.
Right.
We do what we do. We feed, we help, and everything. But more importantly, I want them to see where you could be. You know what I'm saying? If you ever take time and talk to homeless people, a lot of times you'll find out that a lot of those guys are former doctors, attorneys.
absolutely.
They just caught a bad break. Got a malpractice lawsuit or something like that.
Right.
Any of us can be in that situation. So that's one of the things we want to do, is keep them grounded by understanding, like you said, the dignity of every single position of that company. And don't walk in, I'm the CEO, I'm the big dog.
Right.
You walk in and humble yourself. Hey, what can
One
I do
most
serve
willing
you
to
today?
serve. Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
I
Right.
think they get that too from our kids. you know, they get the aspect of the job in their own businesses. Like when we do events, they're selling their own products. They're meeting people there. Kaden had an event last month. He was out there for what, 3 or 4 hours. We got home. He said, "Mama, my feet hurt." But he made $1,000 that day
wow.
selling books and tools
Awesome.
and products.
Awesome.
He met tons of different people.
Right.
He had to sell himself and his
Right.
products
Right.
and provide customer service.
And that's key.
He had to give out his prices. He had to, you know, do money transactions.
Right.
So even in the business aspect, they still learn what a job is.
Right.
And I saw it with my husband when he started his security company.
Mm-hmm.
He was the first one there. He was the first one working the first shift.
Mm-hmm.
Then he added on 2 other people. Then it got to a point he was at home while other people were out working for him. He
Right.
had 15 officers and he was at home. So he
Wow.
worked himself out of that position.
Wow.
And became and he was the CEO.
That is awesome. Let me ask y'all this, because as a lot of entrepreneurs, and Kennedy and Kaden, and y'all probably gonna have seen some early days of this as entrepreneurs, but this is one of the things that typically happen. The scary days, like, you know, because there are always those times where it's like, okay, well, here's this idea. And if you're going to do your homework and you're going to know, okay, and then there comes that extra thing about you really have to believe in it. How do you guys work that dynamic within the marriage? And were you an entrepreneur, Tara, before you all met? How did you guys, you know, get the entrepreneur spirit to, you know, flowing so well between the both of you?
Well, I was kind of forced into entrepreneurship. So I went to the military. I got out. I said, well, I'm not sure what I want to do, so I'll go to school. I got a certificate as a CNA. So I said, okay, I'm going to go out and be a caregiver for this company. And they were paying me maybe $12 an hour. And they got to a point where they were like, the company doesn't need you anymore, but the family still wanted me.
Right.
So they said, well, we'll hire you on, you know, we'll write you a 1099. So at this point, I'm working on my own.
Right.
But then I realized that instead of the $12 an hour, I could get paid $23 an hour.
Right.
And then I could say, well, I'm coming in at 1 o'clock instead of 12 o'clock.
Right.
Or
You're setting your own schedule.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not coming in on Friday. My son has an event at school.
Right.
So I was like, I like this. I like this.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But Sean and I both had marriages before each other.
Okay.
And so we both had spouses that weren't entrepreneurs and they didn't understand their mindset.
Right.
But when we got together, it was like, okay, let's go.
Really? Right.
I mean, it's not easy dealing with an ambitious man.
Right.
You're either gonna
That's true.
You're either
That
gonna
is true.
become his secretary or
Right.
move out the way.
Right.
So
Wow.
I'm like, babe, what you need me to do?
That is so
'Cause I
awesome.
like staying at home.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, so Kaden, we're gonna start with you. No, let's start with Kennedy. Kennedy, could you please tell us something about your business? I see that you've brought some things here today. Do you want to tell us about what you have with you today and share it? Can you see it? Oh, okay.
Yes, my name is Kennedy. I'm the CEO of K-Lock, and I started my company because I was actually kidnapped from my school by misidentification. So that's why I wanted to make lockets that has a child's name, the school, and the parents' information that gets to tell the kids where they show adults where they live and if they get lost.
Wow.
Wow.
And
Did you hear that? Did y'all get that clear? Oh, okay.
And sometimes when I go into stores, I see a lot of baby dolls that don't look as pretty, or they have big eyes, or just dolls that I don't like. So that's why I made my own. They're called sugar babies, and they look like me, and they're black. And they're
Oh,
natural.
wow. Wow.
And after that, I made 3 books, or 4 books.
Oh,
My food journal talks about being healthy and things you can do, like recipes, workouts. My Lemons and Lemonade talks about how I started my company and how I turned lemons to lemonade.
oh, that's awesome.
I got really into being healthy, so that's why I make my own K-Lock Kid vitamins. That has vitamin A, D, E, C, all that stuff.
Wow. Awesome. 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 Awesome.
Impressive.
Impressive. Impressive.
Wow.
Right. We gotta give it up for that. Wow. That is awesome. Okay, so Kaden, you want to tell your story? Because go ahead. You want to talk about your business?
Okay. My name is Caden. I'm the CEO of Caden Teaches, where I specialize in teaching kids about financial literacy throughout my financial products, such as my book titled I'm Not Going to Argue with You,
Wow.
I like that one.
and my financial toolbox that bundles all of my products. It includes my very own gender-neutral fragrance named Clinic.
Stop it. Wow.
I have my very own financial flashcards, which teach kids how different banking terms.
Oh, wow.
And this is my budgeting kit. They're magnets that teach kids how to budget money. For example, you can be a CEO, a college student, or a teacher, and you have to choose a house and a car and your different needs and wants.
Budgeting game.
This is my book titled Caden's Rich Kid Guide that teaches kids 10 tips how to earn 10K under 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
Impressive.
Wow. I
Impressive.
can buy that book for some of my friends.
Absolutely. I want to go back. She said she created a locket
Yes.
for what you say about kids getting lost, or you say you accidentally kidnapped. Wow. And so tell me how with the locket. So is it just got your name on it? Is there
How does it work?
how did it work?
Parents' phone number and your school. So if you ever get lost, you can find them. You can find that group or find your family back by telling a worker. You can call.
You can show the locket. Okay, I get you. All right. Wow. That's
That is awesome.
Wow.
That is awesome.
she feel the need, that's very much because
Right.
kids get lost, kids
Right.
walk away. I mean,
And then just the whole lesson of being able to, and like the book, turn the lemons into lemonade. I
Yeah.
love that. That's an awesome ability that, sometime in life we have to practice from time to time. Because sometime in life you get lemons, but being able to change that into lemonade, that is awesome. And then the amazing thing is, y'all, the thing that's really blowing my mind about it the whole time. I knew this, y'all didn't know this, but they were homeschooled.
oh, wow.
and this is another benefit, and this is what I'm saying, to families that may be watching. Intend, have an intent to where your investment will be made, it was blessed to see the full family here, and to see their example and how the kids are already picking it up. But this is something that can be taught at home, and trust me, I would, you would be hard pressed to find, kids coming out of public schools that have accomplished this amount of entrepreneurship
Right.
at this age. So I commend you both. You guys are doing awesome jobs, and continue to do it. I'm sure you will. I mean, at this point, it almost feels like instinct for you. And like you said, once you make up your mind that is what you're going to do, then you will always find a way to creatively do it better, And it's awesome. That is just awesome.
Yeah, the main thing with your kids too is to listen to their dreams, listen to the things that they want to do. Because Kaden came to us last year and he was like, I want to get a bus. I'm like, you don't have any license, right? That's what we
Right.
think. But he's 10 years old with a title to a bus. He
Right.
bought his own bus. He
Wow.
sold enough products to where he could purchase
get a
his own
bus.
bus.
Wow.
A 55 passenger bus. Big one.
Wow.
Your
Wow.
bus?
Sure. My newest project is my financial bus, where it will have a few different sections, and on the bus there will be there will be a mock grocery store and a mock bank to help you earn, save, budget, and invest your money.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Wow.
Okay, so I get
That
what
is
you said.
It was
awesome.
like a
Everything
mobile
on the bus.
classroom.
Yeah.
Right, and everything educational. I love that. We definitely need to get that information to make sure that people have access to this.
Right.
There's another a STEM program that we're working with up in Cobb County too. I definitely need to make sure we put them in line, because this is beautiful to see. This is how we get to the generational wealth, not just I'm out here, breaking my back, getting it, and I'm trying to leave those that are fortunate enough to leave something. But if you're leaving it to a child that you haven't educated about money,
Right.
about finances, about building, then you fall, back to the same things. How do you keep your kids encouraged in their environments? But I just remembered as I'm saying that they're not a part of the public. What's your opinion about the public school? Do you feel like it was more? It was better. I know that's a hard one.
Whoa.
I feel like the public school teaches you what they think you should know.
Okay.
So of course, with us, they're not going to teach us all of our history.
Right.
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 And then they change things so much to where, especially with math, it's like
Right.
you're teaching them now this long, drawn out way. Like, teach them the simple things that we did.
Right. Right.
And Caden, he was just like, I'm wasting my time at school. He said school shouldn't take 7 hours. Mom, I can do this in 3 or 4 hours.
Oh, wow.
So he was bored.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
What I want to get to, I see the family, and I want to get to the nucleus. I wanted to talk about, because I'm looking at it, and maybe somebody out there that's looking, y'all had to come together some ways, and for the family to be, for your children to be like this, that was some. When you said an ambitious man, he was gunning, he was reaching.
Yes.
And so, just touch on that. Tell me, how did that work? Because a lot of times, I think we talked about how when a man has an idea and when he's ambitious, and a lot of times you got stuff coming.
Right.
You got when you got a creative mind,
Right.
and you need somebody you can chop
You
it
need
up
that
with.
spouse
You need
that
somebody
can,
that can handle
that
it.
can see and believe
Because-
what you. Yeah.
I imagine he was. Well, y'all were doing stuff that you hadn't seen. You know what I'm saying? So how do you
like a
deal with
faith walk.
right? Exactly. Now,
Right.
I'm trying to go there, but you got to have some kind of spirituality or something to be able to. Okay, this man saying this. I mean, what is he? But tell me, talk to me about that. Y'all touch on that a little bit, because
Well, one thing we had to figure out that we were great in different areas.
okay,
So even though mine may be behind the scenes, I take the stress off of him. Like, if it's something technical or anything like that, he gets frustrated easily. I'm like, babe, give me the computer.
Right.
When it comes to we're writing books, like I can make book covers. I can do a lot of things creatively that are behind the scenes.
Right.
He's more in the forefront. He knows the financial stuff. He knows he's like, babe, I'm making the LLC. We're doing this. Come sign this paper. Like,
Right.
that's what he's good at. So I don't get in his lane.
right.
And if it's something that's stressful for him, I'm going to take the stress off of him. I'm like, hand it to me.
I think it's impressive
It's
because
very
it's
impressive.
because the environment is conducive.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say that, I mean he's able to have a vision or idea,
Right.
and he can share it. And it, so maybe not the way he's thinking, but it can you can give birth to something that's big and that works. And like you saying, you're able to move freely.
Right.
And the reason I'm saying that, because a lot of guys and a lot of people, I talk about men. A lot of men are intimidated, or they will suppress their mate, their spouse, and or there's some kind of
Emasculation.
right,
on
or some kind
level
of
going
anger
on.
or jealousy. I don't know, but people go through that, and a lot, and so it's very important. I think we was talking about because he was talking about
Talk of water.
that you two guys jive, that you two guys get to get that it worked.
It's beautiful
So,
to see it.
yeah,
It's
because
beautiful to see it.
like you just said, because I mean, it makes me think about I can't do the computer. She said, "Give it to me. Let me do it." And I mean, you're not threatened in who you are.
Right.
You don't feel well.
Right.
And I mean, a lot of us go through that. A lot of men need someone that they can move, with them. And so I think we was talking about being equally yoked or having someone that you can work with that fits you.
You know the key thing there? When both parties realize we're wearing the same jersey.
Right.
There you go.
That's it
Same,
right there.
same.
Uh-huh.
We're working toward the same.
We're running in the same direction. That end zone is both of ours.
Right.
You can't get the ball and run that way. I'm trying to get the fumble and run that way.
Right.
We got to go the same way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then
Right.
once people get past that, you're off and running.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what we do. It's just like, man, we just yin and yang.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And see, that's such a major though, because that, and like he was just saying, that's a lot. You get a lot of guys say, man, as soon as I say something, you know, she killed my dream, or, you know, and that's the dynamic. So that, for me, was part of the reason we always talking about knowing your purpose and having a sense of who you are. Like you said, once you got to that point where you realize, okay, I'm an entrepreneur, you know, and that's just who I am. Even though you were holding a job, and like you said, in your previous marriage, that was not where you didn't quite see eye to eye with that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So a lot of people find themselves in that way, and we always try to connect it back to the brothers. Like, find your lane, know your direction,
Right.
you know, before you step out, because then you'll find that spouse
Right.
that will come according to that, you know, because a lot of times, you know, we into something else when we meet somebody, and
Right.
then, you know, and then once we try to line our life up, they like, no, I remember the old you, you know, and that's how that is a lot of times. But to see it, you know, come together in such a way is just beautiful. You know what I mean? And you can see
Right.
how it would so easily, you know, trickle down to the kids.
And the wisdom of it is to choose someone and not just like you, but have strengths that where you weak.
Right.
That's the wisdom of it. A lot of people don't realize. So, you know, she looked good. Da, 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 da. We went out. It's a whole lot to picking or finding a mate and finding someone that you can work with, you can build with, building legacy. It's powerful.
Right. And I know it's down the road somewhat, but what would be your advice to your children as they grow, you know, into that age where they're, you know, growing to move away from home? Look, that's a hard question to ask in front of them, right?
Well, they
But-
decided that for themselves already.
Right. I mean, that's really true, because it's almost like they already have such a sense of purpose
Right.
within themselves that anything that wouldn't align with who they are wouldn't even feel right, you know. And I think for a lot of kids and a lot of people, grown-ups as well, that's what's missing.
Yeah, I, with both the kids, like with Tara in particular, Kaden is very much like me. Where sometimes I always tell her, say, just leave him alone. She said, but he did this, or he's thinking about this, just leave him alone. Like when he's getting ready to take a stage, I like, leave him alone. Let him play his little game, literally until they say 2, 3, 2, 1, and then he'll put the game down and he'd go.
Right.
So one of the things with that is, I think like the last show I talked about it. If you take a lemon, you squeeze it, you're gonna get lemonade. You take an orange, you squeeze, you're gonna get orange. If I squeeze you, whatever's in you is gonna come out.
Right.
So kind of like what you just asked, you know, we just put so much in Kennedy and Kaden and just, hey, be a good adult. I just yesterday, Kennedy and I, we were out in the back patio just talking, and I was talking to her about life.
Right.
How to be a good wife, what to look for in a good husband, a good father to your children, stuff like that. So it's just like we just throwing breadcrumbs out
Right.
over and over,
Right.
and they just taking them and putting
Little
them in a bowl
nuggets. Right.
and just stirring them up, stirring it up. Then it's like, okay, I think I'm ready to leave out the house in the next year or two.
Right.
We put it in the oven. Everything I taught them is in the oven now and it's baking.
Right.
So now when they're ready to take that move, they got
They
a
got something.
cake ready
Right.
to go.
Right.
Right.
And one thing that I want to do, that we will do before they're older, we want to have a family house. So it's like when they're old enough, they can move in the family house. They can live in there together.
Right.
It can be, you know, so until they get themselves together, but it's still the family property, and it's
Right.
always going to be a house for
Right.
the family.
Anchor house.
Right. So y'all just family on top of family on top of family. I love it though. I love it, man. It's beautiful.
And if they
It
want
is
to,
really
if
beautiful.
it's only 2 in the house at one time, they can
Right.
rent out the extra room. They can, you know,
Right.
the house is going to make money and it's
Right.
going to provide a roof for them.
Right. And I'm not knocking, you know, single people, the independent one,
Right.
you know, because those are stages in your life, I believe, and it'll eventually happen. But I think we glorify that a lot. you know, and the family have taken the hard hits. Oh, yeah, there's the divorce rate and this and this and that. So I'm just glad to be celebrating a family tonight and to have, you know, this example of family.
Right.
You know, and making it even more tangible, because it's not, we're not talking about somebody that grew up on the other side of the railroad. They grew up on this side,
Right.
you know, with us. And it's just a matter of having that mindset and making decisions to move your life forward.
I'm listening to him, and he was saying how they just sitting around and talking about life, and you'll be surprised. You know how we grew up. We would sit at the table, and my mom was go into it, and I mean, all of us, like pretty much like we sitting here now, and we'll be eating, and she'll just distribute and put into you, each one of us,
Just
each
pour
one of
into
us.
you, right.
And so I said I like to say this. It's important, and I want to say that, you know, I'm going to the men. I want to say this because it's important not just to be dad in the house, but you are raising people, and just feeding them. Anybody can, you know, they'll come up any kind of way.
Right.
But it's
They're gonna grow.
important. It's very important, especially as the father of the family or the head. It's your responsibility to put your hand and mix into them what they need to have into them, because, like you said, what good is it to build a kingdom and then your children aren't aware of it or the value or what it takes to maintain it?
Right.
You know, so your spoils are gone. I mean, everything you work for is gone.
Right.
So I like to say that because I believe in all men, all parents.
Right.
Take time and talk to your children and tell them real stuff. You know, yeah, money, but then there's life, and then there's this, and then there's that.
Right.
Because, you know, it's funny because you think they know it because you know it.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is
You
they
don't teach them, they
won't know.
Right.
And so, you know, I'm just excited to hear that. My son, he would tell me, and I'm a victim of that. I was a provider. I was a good provider. I worked and made sure that my kids had what I didn't have. Until one day my son said, "Well, Dad, you are always working. You did," and it backed me up. Of course, me being who I am, I've always talked to him, but it made me step back and relook at what I'm doing right here. Okay, you're raising people, and you need to put something in these kids. And they ain't talking about just food.
Right.
They ain't talking about just putting a little money in their pocket or whatever, letting them earn money, whatever. You need to put some real values that ground us as people, as a person, as a nation. So, you know, it's powerful. It's good. It do my heart good to see y'all. I just say it like that.
Man, we just talked about that last night as far as you know, what we're putting in them. So many times people just run so hard, entrepreneurship, just we got to put the hammer down, we just run it.
Right.
Or as everybody in our community say, hustling.
Right. Right.
But at some point,
Kids on the side.
you got to be able to show fruit of your labor. You can't be up here just running.
Right.
You got to be able to kick back and say, we go out and we watch movies in the backyard. We got a theater in the backyard. We watch movies with the kids. Put the kids to bed. Me and Tara, we were out just drinking wine, listening to some jazz last night. Next thing you know, we see fireworks going off right behind us. So I was like, man, let's enjoy the fireworks show.
Right.
Just think, we just talked yesterday. We were getting together with some friends, and we're looking to do a trip. It's kind of all over the map and everything. Our anniversary is in July. That's sacrosanct. No matter what, we going.
Right.
So just today, this afternoon, we was just talking everything. We was like, you know, we had a good time in Riviera Maya. I said, okay. I said, well, looking at this time from this time, I said, hey, book it. Just right there on the spot.
Right.
And that is what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to enjoy the labors, but at the same time, you got to be able to show with them. Just like you said, we had family meetings growing up.
Right.
Yeah.
Where mom and dad, they pull us all together, tell us about the finances. Hey, y'all got to make these grapes last for 2 weeks.
Right.
Hey, these Captain Crunch can't be gone this weekend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they walked us through the process. So I was able to understand that stuff, but at the same time, you get to know the kids.
Right.
You know, I pull them to the side all the time, just like, hey, talk to me.
Right.
What's your favorite color this week? Because, see, kids' colors change from week to week.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
But see, you think your son or your daughter's favorite color was blue, but that's when they were 3 years old. They 9, 10, 11, 12 now.
Done changed.
They done had 8 different colors by then.
Right.
So we
Right.
always talk. We come together. We got times where it's all of us together. It's just time where I want to be with Kaden by myself. It's just time I want to be with Kenny by myself. Vice versa.
Right.
Hey, you go walk the dog with the kids. Hey, I'll go walk the kids.
Right.
That didn't sound right. Walk the kids. Walk with the kids and walk the dog. So you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the biggest thing is communicating.
Right.
You got to communicate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we communicate everything.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a lot of great black fathers out here. You know,
Right.
society
I
won't
definitely-
let you know that, but
Right.
I know a
Yeah.
lot of them. And
Me
I
too.
love to see Sean father our kids. Because I didn't grow up with my dad in the home.
Okay.
But when I saw him father our kids, I said, oh, that's the way it's supposed to
To be
be.
right.
And then I hear them, they'll say things sometimes, and they're like, Daddy said, da 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 da. Daddy said, I'm like, when did he tell them that? But like he said, he's having these sidebar conversations
All
that
right.
I don't
Yeah.
know
Right.
about. But
Right.
I just know I hear Daddy said, Daddy
Right.
said, Daddy
Plant
said.
seeds. Right.
And
Right.
I'm 48, and to this day, she still hear me says, my daddy said.
Right.
My daddy said.
Wow.
Because I pick up the phone and call Dad today.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. Same thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing. I think, and you're right. There are a lot of great fathers. I think they do it. We do it. We just do it in different ways. We have those conversations, and we pass on some of our experiences to our kids. Don't do this or something. Well, don't go down that hole. I know about that hole. Don't
Right.
do that one.
Right.
But it's just good to see. It's good to see. I love what he was talking about. A father and daughter.
Right. Right.
Because that's man, that's
You know,
beautiful.
that's something that Kenny and I do. We host an annual daddy-daughter dance.
Do you?
wow.
Okay.
We've been doing it for the last 4 years. So that's one of the key things is that these girls turn into what the daddies turn them into.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So like I said, it's just putting that stuff in them. Tell them about the boys. Tell them about this. Show them what love looks like.
Right,
I think the
right.
first
Unconditional,
man
right.
that a girl ever will fall in love with is her daddy.
Right.
And she should do it by the time she turns 2.
Right.
So that daddy's going to set the precedence of how men treat me, how I expect them to treat me, how I treat a man back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So she knows. And same thing with Kaden. Kaden, open the door for your sister. Kaden, do this, do that. And at the same time, Kennedy will bring her brother breakfast.
Wow.
Or she'll put his food on the table, whatever. That shows her the qualities of being a good wife,
Right.
being a
Right.
good mother.
Right.
At the same time, it teaches him how to respect his sister by
Right.
serving him food.
Right.
That makes sense?
Right. It
So-
makes a lot of
full
sense.
circle.
It makes a lot of sense because I'm gonna tell you, and that I think with society, we grew up with that, but a lot of I think we got to the point where society emphasized, you got to be your own person and this and this and that, and it goes back to the wisdom that you shared, Tara, that when you saw where his strengths were and where yours were, that you didn't mind positioning yourself so you both could be maximum effective. And that's one thing that we need to learn, you know what I mean, as a family unit. And just like you said, Sean, we both wear the same jersey. So it's not about, who's pulling this and who's when you have that, the understanding is we all win or lose as a team.
Right.
Then everybody's bringing their best to the table to make sure that the team, wins. And I think that is that humility that you can teach. This is your brother, but at the same time, you're learning how to serve, because not just today, this is pushing you forward into the next generation. This is going to be a fundamental principle of how you move forward with your family. And this way of honoring and each other will continue. So many nuggets there, y'all.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
Can I throw out a freebie for the family?
Oh yes.
This is for the community. You'll hear a lot of our sisters saying, I'm a strong, independent black woman. That is the genesis of the destruction of the black family
Oh wow.
economically. And here's why I said that. Strong black woman means I don't need a man.
Right.
But a true strong black woman is a woman who doesn't have to leave the house to work, who has everything she wants. That's power.
That's power.
Being able to have, like you say, humility, to yield the floor, to take the floor when you need to in certain regards. And that's what creates the synergy that we have in the family. So when you're saying, I'm a strong, independent black woman, to the man, the black man, he looks at it and says, you don't need me then.
Right.
That makes sense? And what we're doing is we're creating diametrically opposing ideas and ideologies between the husband and the wife.
Right.
And then when the kids see that, well, mama says she don't need daddy.
Right.
Then guess what?
Right. I don't need. Right.
And then on the flip script, you don't need me. And then when our queen started talking to the little boys, you just like your daddy, or this and that. Now in their mind they're perceiving mommy saying men ain't sugar honey iced tea.
Right.
So now they say, well, I must not be that either.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
now they're questioning their
Their man.
Man.
Right.
all that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
trying to stay somewhat
Wow.
politically correct.
Right,
So you know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
and then once you start saying I'm the independent black woman,
Mm-hmm.
which you never done, you took off your Falcons jersey and put on a Cleveland Indians jersey.
Right.
Now y'all running
Whole
two
different
different jerseys,
sport. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
and you're running in different directions. So, and Tara can kind of tell you that the true power, the true strong black woman is the woman who can come together with a man
Right.
and build legacy.
Man, you touching on some real stuff.
Because what is it gonna be? Like you said, when you up in age and you're gonna need somebody to rub your back, rub a little Bengay on the knees. You see what I'm saying? So those are some of the things too, as it relates to just being able, generational wealth comes as a multitude. It's a whole
Right.
family thing.
Right.
And that's one thing I want everybody to understand. We, as a community, let's all get together and wear the same jersey. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We're not enemies.
Right.
Once we do that, man, economic doors wide open.
And see what I love is we talked about the businesses, but you can't separate your core values and your moral. You know what I mean? In the gut, just the gut of who you are from the whole equation. Because we talking about generational wealth. Well, this spirit of and this synergy is a part of it. It ain't just about the money, because you can pass money down and it be lost. The next generation. I've seen, I've known a family and the lady told, and she told her son, when you get it, you gonna mess it up. And I'm just ad-libbing for her. And he got it,
And he did it.
and he did exactly what she said, messed it up. But the synergy was never there. The foundation of this is who you are, the morals of this is the standard of what you look for and expect in relationship. This is how you should live a life. Don't, spend everything that you earn. Always put something up for saving. All of that plays into it. And the end result is the success, and the life that you really want to live, because that was very powerful, man.
Right.
The most powerful woman, and I mean, sisters, if y'all heard that and you went in your feelings, we can really step up. I mean, just a little bit. That's a real conversation, y'all,
Yeah.
because that was powerful. I mean, the most powerful woman is one that don't have to leave the house to get what she wants.
Right.
And then when you think about it in reverse, because that's just the way I flipped it, is what man wouldn't love to be able to go home and know that I take care of all of this? Everything, all of this. It's us together, of course.
Right.
But she ain't got to do.
It's bragging right.
She ain't got absolutely. My wife ain't got to leave the house. You know what I mean? She ain't got to leave the house. And that's a beautiful thing to say. That a man would love to say. I would say a real man, but you got some guys. Man, I go to work, she go to work, but
Right.
that's where you come from.
But a powerful woman knows that there are some things I can do on my own. I can go start a business. I can buy my own house. I can
Right.
do those things. But we're more powerful together.
Right.
Wow.
That wisdom right there.
Right.
With more power. I love when he brought that equation of a family. I mean, that's what I love more than anything, because right here matters. Like, I mean, in the conversation you were saying, we put the kids to bed. A lot of people don't think family, here's the core. Because if y'all don't agree, then the house get divided.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And if
Investments on all
right,
levels.
I gotta go there.
Yeah.
The enemy can come back door anyway.
Right.
But if y'all stay together, if the core is good, see, So I mean, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say because I'm looking at the time. Was there anything that you wanted to share, Sean? I know you brought in a couple publications, and I don't know if you have any courses of anybody, Kennedy and Kaden, if you guys want to talk about your website or where someone could go to find your products, if they want to learn more about what it is that you have, where can we find more information about your business?
You can find me at klockproducts.com or klock_products on my Instagram.
And that's KLOCK.com. KLOCKproducts.com.
Yes.
My name? Well, my
They know your name.
You can visit me at my website, cadenteachers.com, and you can also visit me at my Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Caden Teaches.
Tell them how they can donate to your bus fund.
You can also
Yeah.
donate to my financial bus using my GoFundMe.
Okay.
So Caden made enough money to purchase his bus, and now he's doing fundraising to remodel the inside of his bus.
Awesome.
We're looking for carpenters. We're looking for, if you don't have money to donate, but you have a skill, then
Right.
we're accepting that too.
Okay. So how can someone reach you all if they wanted to donate, or was it the website he just gave?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I wanted to ask something again about the Lemons to Lemonade book and the school things. I wanted to say to like a lot of the educators, because on this summer, and this one thing we've been doing, literacy. We started doing a literacy program with the nonprofit, and but I just want to say to all of the educators, that may be watching or that may be connected to educators, to look into these products, to reach out. If you have my number, or you can call the studio here to get this information, because this would be an awesome summer tool, I think. And I think we have to think of investing in our kids, going to the next level. The Lemons to Lemonade, I'm sure that's a story that would resonate across the board to a lot of kids. There are a lot of kids that's growing up in a lot of different situations. So I'm definitely want to recommend that. And the financial toolbox, I think would be just an awesome investment this summer. And we'll definitely be talking a lot more about that, because this summer, after, what this school year have been for those that were in, public school, we're just really focusing on the kids this particular summer and being able to bring something back and give to the kids. So I want to thank Caden and Kennedy for coming out and sharing. And hopefully, people that are paying attention, we can get around this and kind of push this to bring this message to a lot of other kids, over the summer. It's time to invest to get it to the next level. You can't keep doing the same thing and expecting different results. So that's why I'm glad we're here tonight. We talk about a lot of different things. Sometimes we sensationalize the topics,
Right.
because that's the media game. But I'm just more than glad to be able to be here tonight talking about a real, topic that affect us. I believe that as we encourage families to become stronger, you build stronger families, you build stronger communities, you build stronger, states and nations, but one family at a time. So I'm very honored that you guys came tonight. I appreciate you being here. Elijah, do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good, man.
You're good?
I'm good.
Thank you for having
Right.
us.
Yes.
Thank you all. Anybody have any last words? Any advice to just any of us? To a 10-year-old, what would you say to a 10-year-old, Caden, that wants to maybe start a business? What should they do?
I would say that they do their research, read, and find people who are in the same position as you and trying to reach the same goals.
Wow. Awesome. Awesome. And what would you say? What would be your advice, Kennedy, to someone else? From your experience, how was your experience creating your own doll?
My experience was it was good because I got to show Black kids like me that there are dolls out there that look like you and don't look fake.
Right. Awesome. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. I just wanted to shine a light on this family, y'all. I hope that we're seeing and deciding to reinvest in family and community. Brothers, wherever you at, like I always say, stand up and let's man up for the community.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be responsible, because like you can see, one person can affect a whole generation, as one person right here is affecting 2 generations. We all have that same ability. So let's connect with each other. Let's learn up. Let's inspire each other to be the best that we can be. So to the Harris family, I appreciate you all again for being here tonight. We will see you all in 2 weeks. the next J.Gerrard show. Have a good night.
Peace.